Hello Storytellers, welcome to Bound by Words. My name is Madii. If we haven't met yet, I am a freelance editor and fantasy writer, and today we are talking about the importance of free write days. And honestly, I think they are a game changer when it comes to writing longer pieces like novels. There's a good chance that if you've started a few novels and you haven't finished any of them, it might be because you haven't incorporated enough free write days into your writing process. So today we're going to be talking about why they're important and some good rules to set to make the most out of your free write days. Like today, for example, was a free write day for me, and I think it really just improved my mood when it came to sitting down and writing. Reason number one that free write days are important are that novels are long. You know, if you want to publish seriously or write a book fast, you have to treat it a little bit like a business. You have to keep showing up regularly. You have to either have an outline and write on it, or if you're discovery writing, you have to really keep yourself motivated and accountable to writing regularly. It's something that can very quickly become tedious and daunting. I really like to say that the second something starts to become difficult and more work than it is fun, that's where you're really starting to get serious. So if you're a hobbyist writer who wants to write novels, whenever you get to that point where you're like, this is a lot of work, that's the point when you reach it, you want to be able to push through, and if you are able to, you really beat a lot of people out because so many people quit at that stage. So instead of quitting, instead of getting really fed up, if you're facing burnout and you've just been working too much, you need a break, take a break, no questions asked. But if you need to continue writing and your project is just so incredibly daunting, or you've been working on it and you're brain dead, all of your creative juices have dried up because you're just frustrated of where you are or that you've been doing it so long, free write day is an easy solution to sort of step back and just enjoy writing again for the sake of writing. And we're going to talk about some healthy rules to put on your free write days, but sometimes I just have anything goes days. For the next day or two, I'm going to write whatever I feel like writing, no matter if it's in my story or not in my story. And that helps me enjoy the hobby passion part of writing, while also still being able to regularly commit to the business type of writing that's required to write and finish a novel, especially if you want to write and finish a novel in a shorter period of time. The second reason free write days are important, and we did just cover this a little bit in the first reason, is that it's not always easy. It's really not. Even if you have everything mapped out, even if you love writing, even if you have a lot of days where the words really flow, you're gonna hit days where it's gonna be difficult. It's either gonna be hard to think of stuff, or maybe your head is full of ideas, but none of them are really coming out on the page correctly. Maybe you just have a lot of other things in your life going on, and the idea of, finishing up a long day of work, juggling all those errands, and sitting down and forcing yourself to write something that was already scripted or planned out, maybe that's just not as exciting for you because, discovery writing or free writing is your passion. There are a lot of people who are discovery writers by habit and that discovery write for enjoyment, but really want to experiment and play around with outlining whenever it comes to novel writing. And I really encourage that no matter what kind of writer you are, whenever you are writing a novel or switching projects, I definitely recommend experimenting with things because you don't really know what works for you until you do it. So maybe you're a discovery writer who is outlining a project, and after a long day, the idea of staring at that outline and then writing exactly what's on that outline just seems like not as much of a creative break as being able to just write whatever you want. And in that case, take a break, take a free write day. And it's one of my favorite things to do because they are short term, they don't interrupt your publishing plans or goals, and also they really just help keep writing enjoyable. And I think those are just sort of three reasons that I can loop in one, but the fact that it is short term really, I think, encompasses them all. Free write days or weekends, or maybe even you take a week to do it and you do a little writing vacation where for a week you can step away from your novel and write whatever you want. It being short term is what keeps it from getting in the way of your publishing plans and goals, and it also is what keeps it sort of fun and enjoyable, I think, for writing, because you get the creative excitement from being able to write whatever you're in the mood for, but then you also get the satisfaction of I'm still working on my novel and making progress. But first we're going to set some ground rules. And I know that's kind of funny, I very rarely say this, but I think everybody needs ground rules for free write days, no exceptions. Even though everyone's process is different and everyone's plan is different and everyone's schedule is different, you should have rules when it comes to your free write days. Now, I'm saying that you should make rules, I'm not really saying what they are because that's the part that is going to change for everybody, but you should definitely have some kind of rule. For example, I have different types of free write days that I do where, each one has different rules. You don't have to follow the same rules on every single one of your free write days. I have days where anything goes. I can write whatever I'm in the mood for, no matter what it's about. I also like to have days where I write in the same world, but, not the same characters, not in the same story. I particularly like that one because it gets out a lot of distracting thoughts that aren't relevant to my story, and I can keep them in my story scrivener, and I might be able to use a little bit of that for world building. But whether it's different characters or different buildings or, a different subplot that's not really relevant to the main story, I can really write out and experiment with. And then I also have days where I write the characters, but outside of the world or outside of the situations in the story. So I might want to write a scene where my protagonist is little. I might want to write a scene where my protagonist meets another character. I might want to write a scene where my antagonist, is plotting or planning or doing something that I wouldn't normally put in the book because it would be very villain monologue-y. But I'll set sort of an expectation for the day to follow, and I think that is one of the things that makes free writing days so powerful. I think they are honestly insurmountably powerful when it comes to mood writing, especially if you're a mood writer like me. I feel like I really couldn't finish a novel without a few free write days at least in the mix. So when you're setting your rules for your free write days, some things to think about are: how long is your free write going to last? Is it going to be a day, a writing session? Are you going to take a weekend? I would definitely set a time frame of how long you're going to be doing this and when you have to return back to your manuscript, because if you don't, you can get into the accidental situation where you're like, well, I'm enjoying this and I will get back to it, and you keep pushing the date back. I feel like time gets away from me so easily, so like I particularly, if I don't give myself like a time frame, like a day or a weekend or whatever, then before I know it, 2 or 3 weeks went by and my manuscript sounds like something like I haven't touched in a year. It's wild. So give yourself a time frame, give yourself any guidelines when it comes to how your writing expectations are gonna go. Are you just writing whatever you want, or do you have like minimum word count, daily page count goals that you have? So for example, if you write like 5 pages of your manuscript every day, then maybe on your free write days you still want to hit those 5 pages. You're just giving yourself creative reign of writing something differently. Maybe on your free write days you're doing it because it's a little bit, less stressful, so maybe you want to hit at least 3 pages. Or maybe every day, if you write for an hour on your free write days, you write 30 minutes to make it relaxing, or maybe you write 2 hours because you really want to sit down and enjoy what you're writing. Make those arrangements with yourself, your present and your future self. Make those arrangements of how you want the time and the goals to set up. There is no right or wrong, but I would go far enough to say that it's probably wrong to not give yourself any sort of restraints when it comes to free write days. And the only reason I would go that far is just because it comes to a dangerous, risky territory of not going back to your manuscript. But if you do write things in free write days that you really love, you can add them into your manuscript. It's not like you have to throw them away, or maybe it's the beginning of your next great project. So don't really hold yourself back. Just be honest with what you want to get out of the writing days whenever you schedule them. Free write days are also a great way to experiment with different writing techniques, whether you want to try something that you've seen, in a master class, or if you're taking a Skillshare class. Those are great days to really just play around with writing habits. They're great days to try to mimic your favorite authors. Maybe something you want to do on a free write day is to pick up your favorite book and look at, what kind of tense does she write in? What is her character voice like? Can I mimic that? A lot of people do that with fan fiction, and I think a lot of people who start out writing fan fiction become really strong writers because they're modeling something that was already done well. It is important to find your own author voice, and it is important to find your own character voice, but you learn how to find your own voice by practicing and trial and error and stuff like that. And if you think about it, any other skill when it comes to like arts or music, you play what other people have written in music to learn how to play an instrument, or to learn how like music sort of flows and is put together. And then as you get better, then you start composing your own. When it comes to arts and creating like pottery or painting, you look at the things that people have painted and you mimic their techniques and maybe the ways that they use brushes and certain tools. And then as you get a feeling for how it really works and what the foundations are, then you start to create your own. The same can be true for writing. So maybe a free write day where you really just sit down and say, can I mimic something that I really admire? Whether it is the way the story is written or a storytelling tactic, if a story is told by flashbacks or through dreams or something sort of nifty that normally might be cliche or that you might not want to include in your novel. It's just a great way to play around and see if there's anything that you can improve in your author voice or anything that you really enjoy that you maybe just haven't figured out yet. Free write days are also a really great time to try like writing prompts or writing games. Maybe you have a critique partner or writing buddy who also likes to do free write days. Maybe you guys can do like a writing prompt and say, you know, let's write a couple pages on this, or let's write a couple thousand words on this, and swap it and get some feedback. And it's a great way to get like that short-term feedback, because a novel is really long and it takes a lot of work. Finishing a novel and then giving it to somebody for feedback and then returning it is like a much longer and more grueling process than writing something small. If I remember, I will link the video above, but I did a video on why short stories can really help improve your writing, and I think this is one of those reasons, is because they give you the opportunity to get feedback on your writing in a short like capacity, and that really affects all of your writing going forward. If you give somebody a short story or maybe a passage that you wrote on a free write day and they give you some feedback about, you know, like your descriptions being a little bit too wordy, or maybe they felt white room syndrome, that's something you can consciously use to improve your writing when it comes to writing your novel. So there's a lot of like fun things that you can do with free write days. I particularly really enjoy them for like write-ins or write-a-thons, because especially if you're hosting or you're helping organize any of those, that can be a little bit stressful. So having a free write day can sometimes, you know, take some of that off of your plate, but they're also just kind of fun. They also make for fun writing vlogs if you're a content creator, whether it's here on YouTube or, you know, TikTok or Instagram. Having just a free write day and sharing what you're doing can be really inspiring and motivating to some other writers. The big takeaway in this whole video and topic, and I know it's rather short today, but the big takeaway is don't let being focused on publishing and writing a good story take all of the joy out of writing. You want to continue to enjoy writing and treating it as a hobby and, you know, experimenting with things that work well for you and things that you like. But at the same time, I definitely see and respect and encourage the business-minded side of writing, where you have an outline and you want to write a story and you want to finish it. And just like any other skill, sometimes you just have to crack down on yourself and say, I need to finish this now so that I can edit it. And while I'm editing it, I need to address these issues so that I can improve. And that's sort of like a logic-minded way to approach writing. But most people who get into writing and storytelling, especially when it comes to fiction and fantasy, they do it because they enjoy it. Pretty cut and dry, you know, whether you write actually fiction or nonfiction, most people who get into it do it because they enjoy it. Most people who do it regularly or long-term or well, it's because they have some passion either for reading and storytelling or just writing and sharing in general. So don't let being focused on the publishing and the success that will come whenever you do publish keep you from really enjoying the process of writing and connecting with the community and experimenting. And I know that's sort of the cheesy, like, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Like, I'm not going to sell you that. It's definitely both. I think hitting that destination is part of the journey. If I hiked all day to see the sunset at the top of a mountain and I got there and you couldn't actually see any of the sunset because it was like really cloudy or misty or whatever, I'd be pretty disappointed. So it's a mix of both, but make sure you don't sacrifice the journey for the destination or the destination for the journey. It's definitely a delicate balance. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing while you're down there. I post writing related content twice a week, and I'm also accepting manuscripts for this winter. If you need a free sample edit, my website is down below. I also have Instagram if you just want to talk shop or connect there, and I hope I'll see you guys again next time.